Do you ever think about how life can be a lot like a YouTube algorithm? So, when you think about it, when you are scrolling on YouTube, when you click on something, the algorithm on YouTube shows you something that's similar or more from the same person. So, if you are clicking on horror stories, you're going to get more horror stories. If you're clicking on positive inspirational stuff, that's what you're going to get more of. So, what you're clicking on, what you're noticing is what you are getting more of. So, how is this like life? When you think about it, the things we focus on in life is what we get more of. And usually that's because it's what we're paying closer attention to. It's not a magical, well, I mean, you could call it magic, but it's not a magical equation here. It's simply that what we focus on is what we are going to see more of because it is what is in our consciousness. So if you're looking for how terrible the world is, all the anger in the world, that is what you are going to continue to see because that is what you're going to keep life is going to keep showing you more and more of that stuff. It's what you're tuned into. Versus if you are focused on the beauty in life, you're going to see more of that. Example, if you are at the grocery store and you've been focusing on how hateful everybody is, you're not going to notice as much those people who are smiling and being kind, but you are going to notice that person that cuts you off. It's what you're paying attention to. Versus if you're focusing on the good in life, that person that cuts you off, you may be like, oh, that's kind of rude, but you don't give much to it. But you are going to notice that person that smiles at you as they go by. So it's what we put our attention on. Now, that's not to say we don't see anything else in the world. Like, I do get told enough about some of the stuff going on in the world that's terrible, which is why I do these videos in the first place. But I don't dwell on them. I hear enough about little things going on in the world, enough to tell me, okay, I need to keep doing this and putting good stuff out there. But I don't dwell on it because that's not the world I want to see. I don't want to pay attention to that constantly. So how do we flip all this around? Because it can be a real pain in the ass to shift this when you are in a bad headspace. I know. I work on staying in a positive headspace, but it does not mean that the world doesn't get to me. It doesn't mean that craptastic things don't happen to me too. But I have to consciously shift them. I try to not stay in that bad headspace very long. There are times that bad enough stuff happens that even I'm in a funk for a week. It doesn't happen as often. It's usually an hour or two. Maybe it's a day, a part of a day. And then I move myself out of it. I'm not saying I am immune despite knowing all these tools. I'm not saying I am immune to having bad times and being in a bad headspace, but I'm aware of it. So I do my best to shift it. So I will go into a gratitude practice. I will focus on the things I love. I will look around and I'll be, so if something's really going bad in life, you can look around and think, wow, I'm so glad I have a car that I can get places with. If you don't have a car, I'm so glad I have someone that'll drive me places. If you don't have that, I'm so glad that I have a grocery store nearby I can walk to. Things of that nature. Anything you can, and you just start listing them until you realize how much you really have. And at first, it's really dragging it out of yourself. Those positivity, the gratitude, what you love. And it feels more like going through the motions. But little by little, you'll start to feel it more. And if you keep doing this every day, and if you're in a really bad headspace, set an alarm or something like that and have it go off on the flippin' hour and say like 1 to 3 things or more of something you're grateful for. And keep that rolling because eventually, I know it seems really fake and difficult at first when you're doing it because you feel like, well, I'm saying I'm grateful for this, but things are just still a shit sandwich. I get that. But you keep practicing it and little by little it becomes more authentic and you're feeling it more. And before you know it, you're actually paying attention to all the beauty in life. You're noticing all the good. I will say too, sometimes it's difficult if you have people around you that are constant naysayers and negative vortexes. If they are that kind of person, if you're doing gratitude practice, they can still kind of keep dragging you back down. So you may want to just, it doesn't mean you have to not be friends with people. If you love them with their family, whatever. You just pull back a bit and get into your own bubble for a while until you get yourself in a good headspace. So that is the thing I have found of everything else I've found. Gratitude, I know it seems like a cheesy poster on a wall, gratitude and love, but honestly, it does do flippin' wonders. You just have to stick with it. So, just something I thought I'd bring up to you guys. I see more and more people who are, they have a hard time getting out of that and they want to find that positive in their life. But they hear things like gratitude practice and they're like, yeah, whatever, that's not going to work. It's because you have to stick with it for a while. At first, it doesn't always do a lot right away. But if you stick with it, it makes a difference. I know I've been in the shitty places in life too, and it actually has helped a lot. So I hope that helps. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.